Welcome everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you for joining me. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click it for me, help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And as an added bonus, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's happening in the world of music. Like this, we've got a brand new 50th anniversary Doors Morrison Hotel album. It was their fifth studio album at the time. This just came out on October 9th of 2020. We're going to talk about it. I'll do an unboxing on it. You know, the history of the Doors, we all know the history of the Doors, so I'm not going to go into all of that. But the band did form in 1965. They only lasted 8 years until 1973. A lot of people don't know that they actually continued on and made 2 albums past the time of Jim Morrison leaving. But the main band that we all know, Jim Morrison on vocals, Ray Manzarek on keyboards, John Dinsmore on drums, and Robbie Krieger on guitar. Now, during their short time together, they released 8 total studio albums, 6 of them with Jim Morrison, and then the 2 that I was talking about where they were a trio, and of course those are without Jim Morrison. And in 1978, they did release 1 posthumous album that was called An American Prayer. So there are a total of 9 studio albums that the Doors did officially release. Just one of them came out after the band had already broken up. And in all, they've sold upwards of 33 million copies just in the US alone and over 100 million worldwide. So, I mean, the band's stature is still growing. I mean, certainly in part to the Oliver Stone movie, The Doors. That did a lot for them in the early 90s and continued on. But all of these anniversary and reissues and digging into the vaults and that sort of stuff. And so that's what we've got here. This Morrison Hotel is a 50th anniversary. It's they're digging into the vaults for this. It's actually got what I would call a new mix on it. I'll go into that in a minute, even though they're calling that really a remaster. But a little history behind the album itself. So as I said, it was their 5th studio album. It was recorded in released in 1970, because I'm going to clarify about the difference between when it was recorded versus when it was released. And this one here was a real return to form for them. It went back to their original blues rock style of the earlier albums, you know, back to basics after their 4th album, The Soft Parade, that was a real expansive album that had the brass band in on it. And there is a separate review for that. You can see the box set there behind me. That came out a year ago, roughly this time last year for the holiday season. So if you're interested in hearing a 50th anniversary review for that, check that one out on my channel. I'll put a link in this video for it. And you know, the biggest hit probably off of this is Roadhouse Blues, but some of the tracks date back to sessions before this album. And so songs like You Make Me Real was actually written in 1966. Waiting for the Sun was recorded in 1968 during the sessions for the 3rd album, Waiting for the Sun, same name. Queen of the Highway was actually a track for the Soft Parade sessions. They did a jazzier version at that time on it. It's re-recorded here during these sessions. And then Indian Summer, which was recorded in 1966 during their recording for the debut album, the self-titled release. So interesting, you know, it was a return to form, but they also had these tracks from other sessions, some recorded at those times, ultimately compiled, mixed together, and then released in 1970 for this album here. You know, when I first listened to this new mastering, I couldn't believe how great it sounded, and I was kind of really shocked by this. I thought, you know, what's going on here? Because they didn't call it a new mix. They just called this a remastering. But what I found out is that, you know, for the 50th anniversary release of this, they have restored the original intended stereo mixes to that. So it's not just a straight remaster in the end. They went back to the original mastering EQ sheets on it, and at the time they had to alter these in order to address the issues with the record mastering process for vinyl. Some of the players wouldn't play it the way they were trying to do it, so they actually altered it, and they weren't able to put it out as the original intended mix. But they've done that. They've restored that here now. And some of the tracks also the recording speeds were off. They weren't quite synced right. This has been fixed on this. So this is now what the intended original master of this album was due to sound like. You know, and for me, I think it sounds really fresh. It's got a lot of punch in it. And like I said, when I first put this on, I was kind of blown away by it because to me, it sounded new. And then as it turns out, it actually is a new mastering of the original intended mixes for this album. Now the second disc in here is what is the most interesting part. This is called, they've titled it at least as Mysterious Union, and it's basically comprised of sessions for two songs, Queen of the Highway and Roadhouse Blues. And some interesting things about this, I like how as part of track 10 in there during a take on Queen of the Highway, Jim is basically asking, let's warm up with Roadhouse Blues, and it flows right into it. Track 11 is the start of the Roadhouse Blues sessions. So as opposed to this feeling like, you know, it's a bunch of segmented takes or something, it actually flows seamlessly from one to the other in here. They are made up of different takes. It's not just take 1, 2, 3, and so forth. You know, they go up through Queen of the Highway, I think up to take 44 on it or something. So, but it's really interesting how they're able to do that in here. It's put together. You're like a fly on the wall in the studio. You really get to hear all the in-between studio banter. But at the same time, the things that are being said within that relate to the next take. You get to hear that change in the next take. So there's a cool, interesting flow and growing process to the track as you're going through it. And there's enough uniqueness on each of these tracks that makes it interesting, that actually holds my interest, you know, all the way through this. One of the other things that's pretty cool on here is track number 5, which is a Queen of the Highway take number 14, was actually recorded without Robbie Krieger on it. I think he was taking a break or something, they said. So he's actually today, he recorded, you know, presently, I mean, he recorded overdubs for his guitar. They've added it to it and been mixed in now. So again, like on the Soft Parade where Robbie Krieger went in for that 50th anniversary, added some overdubs to it, he's done that here, only on one track, but he did do it here. So again, it's like getting that new Doors track that didn't exist before kind of a thing, at least for us diehards, you know, to dive into all of that. And then there's actually a couple cool cover songs on this. Track number 12 called Money, That's What I Want, and track 13, Rock Me Baby, and that one's got a really cool bluesy take on that number. So let's take a look at this. This is the front cover. This is a nice like vinyl or fabric sort of covered packaging on it here. And of course, interesting story behind this, Morrison Hotel. They were not allowed to take this shot. They snuck in and took it while the clerk was away from the desk, kind of a thing. And then the back side of this, Hard Rock Cafe, which actually has no relation to the more famed one that's out right now that uses its name, although they did take the name having seen it on this album here. Now, when you buy this, it comes with this thing on the back side of it, so you can see everything that it comes with, and then that comes off of it and you get what the original vinyl album cover was. It is a numbered limited edition, if you can see mine there on this. And then when we open this up, it's just a book style. You can see the 2 discs in the back, this great photo that's here, which holds the vinyl and the book on this. So let me pull those out and give you a quick little showing of that. I'll pull out the vinyl here. It's just a protective paper sleeve on it, but they do restore the original Elektra Records logo to it, which is kind of cool. It's a nice thick cut vinyl on it. And then you get the book. I do wish this book was hardback or integral to this packaging part of it, but it's not. It's a little flimsy in my opinion, but what's in it is really great. Let's take a quick peek through this. It's a little hard to hold up. I'll do my best here. You get some really great shots in this. There's a nice sort of history and explanation. You can see how much text is in this. It was a great read. I highly recommend it. Some new insights into things. But these large scale photos that are in here are what I actually really like. This one here, look at this. I mean, it's like getting a poster size quality of these things. So pretty cool. The thing that I really liked was this part of it here. They go into the technical aspect of things. It's what I was talking about with the different takes and everything on it. Then you get some more stuff that's going on here. and a final shot there. Some cool outtake shots and things that are on these. Bottom line, I think this collection is really there for the hardcore fan. I don't see myself going back and doing a lot of repeated listens to that second disc called Mysterious Union with all the different takes on it. But it is really interesting. I think of it at least like a documentary. I'll pull it out from time to time, listen to it all the way through. I have to say, when I was listening to it, it really put a smile on my face. There's things Jim say that are really funny in it. Bruce Botnick, the producer and engineer, saying things on this and stuff. So it was a really interesting thing to listen to hear, to get inside. All of it is unreleased, at least they claim, these takes, these versions and whatnot. So in my opinion, it is worthwhile. If you are a Doors fan and collector like I am, I highly recommend this. I picked this up for $45 on Amazon. And even though it's only 2 CDs and 1 vinyl, I think it was totally worth it for the $45. So I do recommend it in that regard. If you're a casual fan, definitely check out the album. Pick up the single disc remastered version of this. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. It sounds wonderful. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think of this new mix on the album. All right, everyone take care, have a good day, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.